Your Texans might not win, but
Hello and welcome to UK Versus. Today we're talking Nats information, maybe take a look at the Critical Role card that got spoiled, and talking about the Card Goblin Black Friday deals, which are currently on screen, and the charity event that we're doing that's 2 weeks away, that we've just had a Vile Season Contender card donated towards the prize pool, which is absolutely amazing. We are joined by team recruiter for the Dobbers connoisseur, Connor Middlemass, also known as the Phantom top 11th player of the EU. And as always, we are joined by Richard Plummer, who is currently watching the Titans get rammed up the rear.
No, I'm watching my Houston Texans get beaten by the Titans.
Oh, okay, I don't follow football. Never mind American rugby.
It's depressing. But yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, so I've just got the remainder of the match just playing on my phone next to me because I'm a terrible person. But yeah, so we've got plenty of news to go over today. And obviously, once again, as usual, thanks very much to Connor for joining us.
Yeah, no worries, lads.
So, how are you doing, Connor?
Not bad. This is like the first actual streaming and stuff I've done 2 weeks. I've been ill for a bit, so we're kind of bouncing back.
I mean, between illness, Star Trek Lower Deck stuff, work, and Nats practice, a lot of people are struggling to keep up with streaming and content. Something has to give. For me, it's Nats practice. I'm going to keep pumping out content and not qualify for Worlds.
Yeah, we've got our workshop on Tuesday. We're all going to get together and try and sort of sort our decks out and get some stuff prepped and maybe do a bit of practice. So
I don't see the point until we see the solo leveling stuff. And people, a couple of people, Mike has said to me, it won't invalidate any practicing you do. It's like, yeah, but there's 21 cards there.
But how many of them are really going to be impacting the meta? Like a handful, right? So
you say that, but Dark Challenger Deku dropped 2 weeks before regionals. It was the most represented character there,
and didn't top cut.
Because people figured it out, but it was the most decked against.
Sure, but obviously it might have an impact, but. It doesn't invalidate any testing or any prep work you do.
I'm sure it'll be fun, but before that, 2 weeks from now, we're just under 2 weeks from now. Hold on.
Fair enough.
Then aggro. But yeah, so obviously before we've got the lower deck stuff coming out in a couple of weeks. So that will in theory sort of impact the meta. I don't know if there's huge amounts in there, but there is certainly a lot of a bunch of playable cards.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of staples that are going to show up from that. Yeah,
just a lot of the sort of the sort of one diff foundations. There's a few odd foundations that I think will definitely find homes.
Right, sorry about that. Flynn lost a tooth and then put it on his pillow and lost it, and then he's been trying to find it, and he found it after we tidied his bedroom.
Okay.
So he just ran into Tommy, he's found his tooth. But yeah, we've got a charity event coming in 2 weeks. We've got beautiful prizing for it. We've already got a few people signed up. I know there's more people, but do remember, guys, you do need to donate to the GoFundMe to take part. It's down as a free event because we want all money to essentially go directly to the charity. It's what I'll keep posting about on Discord as well. But if you're signed up for the event on UGN, please do make sure you donate to the GoFundMe in order to stay in the event. We've got promos, we've got playmats. I think the Dobbers are working on a care package at the minute. I've heard from Murray. Vile Season Contender, Kurabara Chrome, Johnny Bosch signed Vash, as well as AOT 2 boosters and whatever else Card Goblin throws in. And it's all going to a great cause. I know some people are disappointed they can't take part because of time or stuff like that. This is just what worked out best for everyone.
Yeah. Hopefully those people can turn up. Like I say, hopefully I can. So, hopefully we'll get a good turnout and get as much money for charity as possible.
Yeah. You guys got anything planned for this week? Given the fact it's Black Friday week now, and it used to be just a day, now it's an entire week.
Well, it's all about the Thursday football, isn't it? So Thanksgiving football
means nothing to me.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I went out and did some suit shopping today for a wedding, so had to put up with like the outlet centre being full of Black Friday madness.
Not a bad show.
Yeah, it was pretty insane, and I imagine most places will be until Christmas.
We went to Primark because apparently they have bluey onesies in now for that fit the entire family. So I was trying to get one for Nats, and they don't have one at my local, so I'm going to go and try and find another one. Because I want to show up to Nats dressed as Bandit, because screw it, why not? I'm just going to have some fun. Speaking of picking things up for Nats, Card Goblin, as of tomorrow, have 20% off singles. So if you are looking at cards, make sure you don't do a Connor and purchase them without waiting for Black Friday deals. As well as there will be some different discounts on products, sealed products store-wide. But on Friday, Godzilla challenges and Dark Hero Arc challenges will be £21.50, and AOT2 booster boxes are going to be £65. So the Origins of Power are going to be quite easy to pick up, and that's only while stocks last. Once they're gone, they're gone. That's really, really cool.
Yeah. Obviously, support Card Goblin, and if not, support your LGS.
Yeah, go check out your LGS as well. I'm going to be picking up a second copy of Star Trek Star Realms over the Black Friday deals for my mother-in-law. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what sites do what kind of deals, what can be picked up. I need some new folders because I realised my current folder situation, I don't have one for AOT2, so I'm going to wait, pick up a cheap folder. So we got the Nats news, but I guess we should really start off by talking about the Critical Role news we got over the week.
Yeah, so that was the first thing that came through in the newsletter, right?
Yeah, I immediately jumped on and made a video as soon as it dropped, because not everyone gets the newsletter. But if you don't get the newsletter, sign up. It's at the bottom of the UVS website. You can sign up. They don't have a direct link yet, so I can't link it into anything. But it's where you can find stuff like this, which we got Harness Undeath, a Lady Briarwood card, as far as I can tell.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know the characters, so is this Lady Briarwood?
It's all unique art, so it would be an interpretation. But I think Connor's more down the rabbit hole of Critical Role than I am. But
enough to know some of it. I think it is Lady Briarwood. Adam's typically our guy for this one.
From the setting of the castle, and I don't know too much about Mighty Nine, so it could come from there. But to me, this screams Lady Briarwood.
Okay.
The necromancy nature of the cards and the way that goes down. So we're seeing Blitz, we're seeing Echo in here, we're seeing three symbol characters back.
Well, maybe, we don't know, because obviously it's a secret rare. So this might be like a, if the Briarwoods are characters, they might be split over some of these symbols, right?
That's a theory that I want to get into in a separate video, but I think the Briarwoods are going to be a new kind of character we haven't seen before.
Maybe. It might be a case of, one of them is Chaos Death and one of them is Chaos Life, right? Or, sorry, not Chaos Death and one of them is Death Life, or, something on those lines. But yeah, there's certainly some information we can infer from this, right?
Yeah.
So obviously we've got the set size. What's that? Is that 217? Or is that 211?
217.
Yeah, it's either 217 or 211, right? So, largest set, but not crazy. Not AOT1 sort of levels. Obviously, we're getting Blitz still, which, you'd expect from... just they wanting to push Blitz. So I doubt if they decided to tone it down on Blitz, then that it would still probably be in these sets. And obviously we're getting backups. There obviously must be backups in order for this to have that thing. So it's got that Blitz sacrifice backup. This game's Echo, so a bit reminiscent of Trace Eyes, right? So Trace Eyes obviously let you spend the momentum to echo it. This means you can spend a backup to give it echo to then spend a momentum to do it.
Yeah.
But being a 4-3 with a 1 high and a 4 low 4, like pretty reasonable stats. Obviously, it's a spell, so that's going to be relevant, I think, for a lot of characters, and certainly for some of the existing Critical Role characters.
Oh yeah, just to play the hell out of this.
Yeah.
And then like that response is this can be doing a lot of damage. Like, it's obviously wanting you to play backups. You blitz, sacrifice a backup, you're getting at least then one in your discard pile, right? And the assumption being you've got a bunch there, and losing then 2 health to then burn them health and then respond to gain health. And then the card pool is suggestive of this character and their kit or kits sort of doing a bit more lose health type stuff, right?
Well, Lady Brightwood is a necromancer, so this playing with life and death kind of aspect works really well. And with Silas Brightwood being a vampire, having access to this card as well, being basically going, you get weaker while I get stronger on damage, fits very well into the vampire motif as well. It's a very thematic card for both of them along the lines. And the fact is, essentially, you can gain 4 life from this if it hits both times and gains Echo.
No, because taking damage isn't the same as losing health, right?
No, losing health is damage is losing life, but losing life is not damage.
I don't think that top response
effects that say when you lose life still trigger on damage. But cards that say if something takes damage do not trigger on when you lose life. Damage is life loss. So damage trigger gain a health, response lose to health. Your rival loses X health, gain a health.
This isn't quite the same as the 0 diff from set 1, right? I think it was a Shigaraki 0 diff that was flip after your rival loses health, they lose 1 more, but that was with loses health due to an effect. Right? Yeah.
So basically, in your card pool, you can trigger it ridiculously amounts, but it's more you can essentially negate the 2 health loss on damage dealt through that top response.
Yes. Yeah, so they take 4, you respond, gain 1, you then lose 2 to respond, they lose health. Then as long as you've got 1 back up, you then gain another 1. Yeah. You echo, it does damage. You gain 1, pay 2, gain 1. Right? Yeah. So in theory, if it doesn't, So I guess when does it flip after you echoed it?
It flicks after it resolves.
So you would get the responses.
So you still get all your responses, and then it flips. But so you lose the abilities for your next attacks because. If you just play this as a base attack and just go, I don't need the Echo because I'm going to now throw all these other attacks at you and just keep gaining health.
Yeah.
Yeah. But definitely an interesting design with that kind of the card pool response sort of almost at odds with the Echo side of it. But being able to sort of do both. It's nice. Like it's going to be a solid piece.
I love the design that's following on from the challenges that we got, where you're still getting that kind of high fantasy design. The fact that this is going to be a set with 100% bespoke art is absolutely nuts. I can't wait to see how they interpret the rest of the characters, because we've already seen Vex, Vax, Jester, and Not. I can't wait to see how they handle Scanlan and Grog. And they're not just going to rip them straight out of the Prime series. This is a 10-year anniversary. It's going to be probably more, I don't want to say accurate, but more in line with how the characters kind of have described them throughout the time, because in the show they have to be quite consistent in what the characters are wearing, and in here they can kind of change up characters in their art style to match armor that was being worn and different outfits. My big thing, and I'm going to put it in a separate video, is I think we're going to see attunement in this set.
Probably.
I can see it happening. Yeah, like it doesn't like if we're getting things like Blitz and stuff, I feel as if there has to be like that line of like they're probably adding all this stuff into the other stuff.
Well, Do you guys? I've talked to Con about Critical Role. Richard, what's your depth of knowledge with D&D and stuff like that?
I mean, I know D&D. I just don't know Critical Role. Like, I understand D&D.
When you have a magical weapon, so say a very powerful asset, what do you need to do as a character to use that weapon to its full potential?
Sure, you need to attune it, but that's like that is probably
that's the kind of pun I know they'd put in.
Ironically, I can see that happening.
You just get a Craven Edge that's attuned evil, and that's all you need.
Yeah,
but if we get attunement, I think it'll be a mix because obviously, the one thing we're seeing here is it's not attunement. Obviously, in the Star Trek Lower Decks, we sort of had a bit of a mix, right? So most of the cards are attuned, but for example, like the Cerritos itself wasn't attuned. So I like the idea of this being more of a mix and attuned being a bit more like limited. Like we don't, there's not huge amounts of attuned cards.
Oh yeah, I'd definitely like to see attuned used more sporadically, but I think this is going to be nuts in any character you put it in there. But straight away, people just went to Jester and was like, "Yeah, Jester's going to just go. I get to play this every turn."
As long as you're playing backups, right? Like there is that sort of barrier to entry, right? This sort of does nothing if you're not playing backups. Obviously, you could play this in AOT characters that work with backups, as totally what I'm saying in chat, like with hands or whatever.
The Critical Role theory I'm working on is I think we're going to see asset backups. We're going to see cursed items like Craven Edge and like Percy's Pepper Box, which then turn into Craven Edge Demon into Orphax as a backup. So when the condition is met, when you take X amount of damage or when you deal X amount of damage, you get to transform these assets. And because Craven Edge was originally Silas Briarwood's sword, it fits very well into this. I think you've got the backup, and it's because of how small. You said this was a big set, but this is a tiny set for 10 years of Critical Role. I think we're going to see a lot more backups in the forms of NPCs like Alora, Gilmore, the Glorious Goods guy.
Names are escaping.
Yeah.
But don't know any of the characters. But I mean, obviously they've taken the lid off the Pandora's box of dual-faced cards, right? So there's obviously a lot they can think about doing with them. We've already seen the sort of the progression of it through the two AOT1 sets. You had attacks that were just flipping into backups and characters that were flipping into different versions. Well, then AOT2, we've now got a character that flips into a different hand-sized character. We've now got attacks that flip into foundations. So, there's definitely more design space they can use there, as long as they just don't go too overboard on it, I think. We don't want every single card fucking flipping into something, right? Maybe having like a cycle of, say, like these sort of artifact type things that start off as like inner assets or foundations or something, and then due to some condition flip into something that has a stamina bar, right? The stamina stats and does things as a backup. Again, as long as it's not overdone, I think could be fine.
I think the Pepper Box into Orphax would be a very good asset into backup kind of way to go after certain conditions have been met. I'm not going to go too much into it because I'm literally working on a massive field. I might have to cover all videos, but I think we're going to see this as the first set of 2025, incorporating all the new stuff we got in AOT2, but cranking it up to an 11. This is a celebration set, so I'm expecting everything to kind of pop off.
But again, that isn't that you don't sort of make better sets by just making it more soupy, right? You make better sets by just designing them better. You don't just sort of chuck loads of mechanics. That's just a way of making a bad set.
They don't need to. There's going to be new mechanics in this. They've already said there's going to be new mechanics in it. But I think we're going to see a lot more alt arts. I think we're going to see here.
Yeah, stuff like that. Again, we just need. Personally, I think you just sort of need to avoid going down the path of Magic, right? With having 17 different alt art versions of every single card. Just let's not do that. Like having nice alt art versions is cool. Let's not have 17 different versions of every single card.
Let's not linger too much on the Critical Role because it's quite a way away. We did get some AOT 3 news. I forgot to cue that up. In that the chromes we get in AOT 3 are going to be brand new art from the series creator, which is absolutely amazing.
Okay.
And that's the only kind of news we have on there, apart from the fact that it seems like chromes are going to be in every single set moving forward.
Yeah.
But then we got Nats news, and we got to take a look at the promos for participation, a pin for signing up, which seems pretty cool, and this very chic silvery playmat. And then we got to look at the Top Cuts promos as well.
Yeah. So, all in all, I think it's good, right? Like, I think the promo's cool. Like, it's interesting art, right? I like the fact we've got these like different ones for finalists and champion. So they get their own individual ones. Obviously playmats I can take or leave, to be honest. Like in general, I'd rather we didn't have playmats because I don't really care. But they're a little bland. But maybe that's like an yeah. They're fine.
I like the playmat for nationals. I'm up for like that all the time. Again, every regional as Brett says, yeah, no, not that bothered because then you just
Right,
end up
you're
too
muted.
many. But it's a tiny bit bland, like from ones we've seen in the past, which is my only tiny pullback from it. I like the pin as well. Like, I guess it all ties together to a degree. But I kind of wish it had something maybe a bit more to it.
Yeah, like maybe they could have done something like just had it maybe exactly the same, but had that silver background almost like be the wall, right?
Yeah.
That would have been like an interesting way of doing it.
So
I don't know.
Background on the wall, you're locking it to one IP, which is something they don't want to do anymore. It's not a Pro Hero Nationals.
I guess so. That's probably part of it is taking the tournament name and thing away from the IP. That sort of makes sense.
I mean, if
At that point, you've got to do something a bit more with it. It can't just be a like slap sticker on a playmat. Then,
if they're taking the like orange background they did with all like the old UFS cards and stuff like that, and done that as a Nats playmat, might have been cool. But that might be something we see in 2026 for like 20-year anniversary. But as a first national since the first proper national since the rebrand, I kind of like it. It's simplistic. It's nice.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like again, playmats aren't really what I care about. Like it's whatever. Like the pin is nice. Again, fine. Don't really care about it. Like the card choices are fine. Like pushing the limits is a fringe playable card if you're playing Death Arms. High speed dodge is a card that might see some play, and teaming with the attack titan is a card that probably will see some play, but I don't know.
Attack Titan was a good choice. I'm not the biggest fan of making the promos you get for events the most playable because it just hikes the price ridiculously.
That's good. Having value in those promos is good.
You need to get something for it because you're paying like 30 odd quid to get into it.
Yeah. Promos, I'm happy. Promos prices can go through the roof as far as I'm concerned because they are premium versions of a card you can get elsewhere if you just want the basic one. They're not stopping you playing, right? They're not mechanically unique. So, they could print gold plated ones and give you that to the champion, I'm totally fine with it, right? From that perspective, the more value they can put in these promos, the better, from my concern, as far as I'm concerned.
And then we got the additional news of how the World invites will be working for Nationals, where the top 8 of every Nationals will be getting a $500 travel voucher. Finalists will be top 4, and finalists will be getting $1,000, and the winner will get $1,500. And I was shocked with how well that was received, in all honesty.
No, I think it's good. Like, I don't know, because I don't think anyone was sure whether the Nats would get one. I mean, given regionals were, I guess there was probably an expectation there would be a travel stipend, but maybe only for the winner sort of thing. But the fact that top cuts are all getting the same as if you're winning regional, and then you get more for going higher, I think that's really good. I think having significant prizes is really good for these tournaments, right?
Well, let's Tony give his opinion before I give mine, because mine's not as good.
So, I mean, the bracket for the vouchers, I think, is a good thing. Mainly because I think, especially on the Discord, there was like a genuine chunk of time where people were just assuming there's no payment. And then it was like, right, well, what do you get? I think there was that kind of like indecisiveness attached to it all, where I'm like, okay, top 8, you get $500. That's not bad. For us, at least, that's going to pay for your flights-ish. Be bit added to it. Like, get top 4. I don't personally like the fact that the finalist and the top 4 is kind of the same bracket when it comes to the money side of things. I feel that's a bit of a weird one. Like, you get it, because it's like, if you get it top 4, do you then just be like, it's only $500 to just like go play retro?
But you get that very cool black mat that I'm not supposed to have seen yet. So
well, that's true, but technically we've not seen that though, so I don't know of that.
So my opinion is kind of based in the same area as yours, Connor, but the opposite side of it. For last year was the exact same boat. Every single person was like, "Oh, we don't know what's happening with like the top 8 placement. Is it being paid?" And things like that before we got to the Nats, and basically saying, "Oh, it's not the worst case scenario." To me, I was let down, and Zodiac Gamer Justin Butch was talking about in Discord and go, "Oh, this is what we expected." I'm like, no, this is what you expected. Oh, this is what everyone I talked to was like. Yeah, exactly. Everyone you talked to expected no payment, whereas I went, okay, for the last 2 years they've paid for the flights and the hotel, and they've already confirmed that next year they're paying the flights and the hotel for the top 8. So why would this year be any different than the last 2 years?
I don't think that's confirmed at all, is it?
Yeah.
Because there isn't a Nationals at all next year.
No, but they've confirmed the top 8 regional point earners will have a paid trip to Worlds next year.
Well, again, we don't necessarily have like the cut-offs and the boundaries for that, right?
No, but we know the top 8 point earners are going to get flown out.
Yeah, we know that part at least.
We know that much. We know that they're going to pay.
With that is I would say that's a totally different bracket of entry at that point.
But it's
so
still
like being top 8. Well, the thing is, right, like you can top 8 at Nationals just by having a lucky day.
Yeah.
You can't be in the top 8 by just showing up once or twice. You've essentially got to do a lot of travelling.
I'm not arguing that difference, but I'm just in my head. The reason I'm disappointed with this, the way that my head justified it was, why is this year different than the last 2 years, and how we're going to be moving forward? And I get that this event is where people have had next year. People have to grind at every event. People are going to have to work their butts off and spend a lot of money traveling around, just like Mike and Ben did this year, getting as many points as they did to make sure they get to Worlds or get that day to invite or get that paid trip out. And this year is kind of in an awkward position because it's like the transition area. But I don't see why this year needed to be different. There was no justification as to why the change was there. It was like, oh, this is how the pricing is going to go down. But they didn't say, we've made this change because of this. They not really
probably finances.
Yeah, it's like going to be finances plus, probably along the lines of, let's be honest, UVS wants this competitive season to be well and truly over.
Mhm.
It's had its ups and it's had its downs, a lot of downs, and there's been a change of the guard midway through a competitive season. There's probably so many changes where you're just like, can we just get to Worlds and then start afresh next year?
I literally have a video coming out, I believe, either next week or this week or next week, which is talking about the fact that I think that Worlds wasn't their choice and they've been backed into it either by previous staff members or some outside force, and they've had to kind of stick with this. But I'm not. That's that video. But for me, it's just.
I think part of it is it had to be a cash stipend, right, or travel voucher, however you want to euphemize it, because there's 2 weeks or something between, or 3 weeks between Nationals and Worlds.
Even if they just justified it, basically saying, with how close Nationals are to Worlds, we're issuing the travel voucher so you can secure it and you don't have to go through us and you can make sure that you can get there. Perfect. That, to me, that clears it up. But just say nothing. Okay, this is the prizing. It's different from last year, but that's it. It's like, cool.
I don't think I need to justify it. Like, they're just saying, here's some cash. And because there's going to be a whole, there's going to be a non-zero amount of people that get in top 8 and be like, cool, Worlds is too close for me to then book some more annual leave or get whatever I need, visa, whatever I need to get over there. So,
I'm going to pull the very rare neurodivergent card out my deck and play it in the case of sudden changes to expected outcomes are not good for my mental health. So
it's not really a sudden change.
It is a sudden change though, because they gave us no warning. They didn't say, "Oh, the system might be changing." Every time you asked them, you got the same response of "Assume it's like last year." So, flipping my neurodivergent card, I took them literally and assumed it was like last year, and I was wrong. I did everything they asked me to. I assumed it was like last year.
It's sort of the same, right?
It's not the same.
It's a kind of weird one, right? The fact they're not paying for everything does inherently make it different from the previous 2 times, which is a bit rough. If that was specifically what you were hoping for, I think the fact there's still some form of cash incentive to get you out there on such short notice, I think is still fine. At least they've told us.
Yeah, I've tried to break it down in my head, and I don't know why I'm so disappointed with it, because like you said, it's not that different. And as Mike pointed out to me, if you win, you're essentially able to basically go to Worlds from the UK and go upgraded. You can kind of upgrade your flight, you can upgrade your hotel, because it's more than enough, and it truly sucks for OCE, because the 500 top 8 is probably not going to cover their flights there. But
no, not in the slightest.
I think it's just a personal issue that I understand why, and I understand it's not that different, but because it's different, and because I wasn't prepared for it to be different, because whenever you asked, you just told, you assume it's the same as last year, it's kind of blindsided me, because it went against everything I was expecting, and everything my logic senses are going, well, why would this year be any different than last year? Why? I can't quite. I'm still processing.
I always expected it to be this. To be honest, I expected it to be probably a flat 500 for the top 8, if anything, right? Or a 500 for the winner, right? I honestly expected it to be so much worse than what it is, that actually it's pretty good.
I went the other way. I expected that because this is the last national for a while, I expected it to go out in a bang. But again, I go back to when you ask them stuff like this, you just get told, assume it's the same as last year. And I did. And it's kind of threw me. And I know that this change doesn't impact as much as I'm making it out it does. I can discern that, but emotionally and like the way I'm feeling at the minute, it really has kind of knocked the wind out of me.
It is different, right? So the difference isn't really material. in that there is a difference between here's $1,500, like here's $500 or however much dollars that you can organise yourself, come out and be part of this event, and that's all cool. Between there's a big difference, and even if the monetary values end up being the same, to hey, you've qualified, we're going to pay for your flights, pay for your hotel, and fly you out, and party bus, all that jazz, right? It's more that kind of, again, gut difference rather than actual sort of material difference, if that makes sense. And just the way it feels, I guess, about obtaining that prize. Like I guess it's more impersonal receiving a travel voucher than saying, hey, we're going to book all your flights and get you out
the fact they're putting the pressure on you to organise it within 2 weeks.
That's okay, given how much, especially given the experiences of organisation of travel of the first year HLC. I think most people will be okay with just booking their own. And
most people, yes, but I mean, I was talking with Scott today, Scott over the week, who's been organising his passport just in case. And I was like, oh yeah, I need to update my ESTA. He's like, what's an ESTA? I was like, that's what you need to get in the country. And when we had UBS doing this for us, we had them kind of remind us, oh, you need to work on your visa. If you just leave it to some people aren't going to realise they need special documentation to get actually into the country.
Yeah,
There's going to be mistakes made.
Really? Yeah, that's on them. Like, it wasn't really down to UBS to remind us of that shit. Like, we're fucking adults. We should know that stuff, right? Or at least look into it.
But with 2 weeks to go, say we have Connor here, and just like the last 2 weeks, he gets back from Nats and he gets Connor flu, so he's out of commission for 3 days, then has to work 4 days, and now has a week to secure Worlds.
Sure, that's an issue of the timing, right, rather than anything else, and that there basically isn't any excusing the timing difference between Nats and Worlds. I think was always ridiculous from day one when they announced it. Everyone knew it was ridiculous and was always going to be a pain in the fucking arse. But that's more the timing than anything else.
The fact that we're going last is kind of crazy with like the time difference. NA should have pretty much always been going last here. Because they've got the least time the thing to organise.
Maybe, but like, the small lag time between them is nuts. But like, that is what it is. Just
The travel vouchers, the prizing, I get it. I can justify why these changes are made, but I don't like it. I don't like the fact
it doesn't feel as special. I understand that, but it is what it is.
The speciality of it. It's just
I think the biggest thing is you had a pre-established norm, and this is now not part of that pre-established norm, which I think is kind of what catches people off to a degree.
Yeah, I think rarely for me, this is not a logical response. This is an emotional response of, I don't understand why it's different. It had no need to be different, and I'm just disappointed that
because this is transitional, right? And that's part of the problem is that let's be honest. This year's OP has been a bit of a flustercludge, partially because it was all organised by someone who then exited the company, and they were trying too much, and I don't think their vision quite worked out.
Well, as Josh said when we had him on, as Josh said when we had him on, this year's focus was heavily on competitive play and making the game and the community very competitive and having a competitive drive. And when I think about that, this pricing structure makes sense.
Yeah, this is just a in theory a blip of a year, and Josh gets to put his stamp on it for next year, and hopefully it all works out right.
Yeah, I think this will be our season 4 of community. This will be our gas league year. This will be the year that we don't talk about because of younger to go and all the other stuff that's gone down, and it's just going to be okay. So what was organised play like in 2024? There was no organised play in 2024. What are you about?
The other part of it, right, is the prize wall we haven't gone over.
No, we're going to get to the prize wall after we talk about the reason Connor's here, which is the belts. If Team Connor gets the belt or Greg gets the belt.
Mhm.
Which is what that's my official proposal for your name, by the way.
I've went on recruitment drives. The worst part as well was right. The worst part was I was working and then got home to see the news. So by the time I had seen the news and asked a few people, looking at you, Ben, supposed to be my team, right? All of a sudden, people have already teamed up, and I was like, well, this needs fixed now. Because last teams at regionals was an absolute cluster because nobody knew who we were teaming with, nobody had a clue who was going, and then it was just kind of scrambling at the last minute. I want locked in. My 3 people were all set. We're winning these belts. Like it's happening.
Richard is in charge of the team's aspect of UK versus. He's in charge of bringing home the belts for UK versus.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I'm not going to be able to take part because I'll be playing in Top Cuts, so it's fine.
That depends, because if it's like the old regionals where this event's happening Friday.
So I was thinking about this. We don't actually know what day it's going to be on.
Yeah,
and I don't think, and I personally hate the fact that it could be a Friday or a Saturday or a Sunday. I think both days suck for it.
I think Sunday.
Well, you say that, but like if you look at what Sean and Rochester have done for US Nationals, and by the way, our US brethren, go turn up to Nationals, support Sean, support the game over there. Obviously, he's put a lot of work into this, so turn up and make it an awesome event. So they have done 2 things. So first of all, I believe the teams event is on the Sunday. So if you are playing a Top Gut, you don't get to play in teams. Is what it is. But also, they've split Swiss over 2 days. So there's going to be 6 rounds on the Friday, 6 rounds on the Saturday, I think, or 5 or 6 rounds.
Yeah, but that's because we got them last year for the US. They did 7, 8 rounds in a single day. We're not going to have that. We're not going to.
I'm assuming we'll just be playing on the Saturday.
Yeah.
That would be my
assumption. I think the reason why there's no bracket of what's happening on the Friday is they'll get the numbers in and they'll be like, right, now we have to do it over 2 days.
Yeah.
And it'll be like, right, well, we have the 2 days locked in. Cool, let's go for it.
Friday will be a lot of. I think Friday will be a great chance to grind for Prize World Cup tokens. I think it's going to.
Yeah, we'll have to see what. Because I assume it's Sean running it, right?
Yeah.
Or was it not?
Yeah. Last chance qualifiers will definitely be a big thing.
Assuming they're a thing. So we'll see what's happening. Whether Sean wants to run it on the Friday or the Sunday alongside Top Cuts. I'm going to assume it's the Sunday alongside Top Cuts, but we'll see. But yeah, they're bringing the belts back is awesome.
I mean, if they started it late enough, if they started teams, say, midday, we're not going to hit 128 people, so we're going to immediately cut the top 8, which means half of the top 8 will probably be able to take part in team.
No, they're going to have to start early because it's going to be well popular.
Yeah, but no matter how popular it is, it's still you're cutting the play base in thirds.
Sure. Well, you've got Swiss rounds that are in theory knockout rounds, right? So you might need to get through, say, 8 rounds total, like 5 rounds of Swiss, 3 rounds of Top Cup.
I think this is going to be a single elimination tournament.
I think it's going to be. Yeah, I think it's going to be a 5 rounder.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think we can generate enough teams. Because if it's we're going to be maybe 70 odd players.
Yeah.
So you're talking less than 20 teams sometimes.
Say we hit 80 players. 8 of those are immediately not going to be coming through, so we've got 72. You also got, say, 20 people who aren't going to come back on the Sunday, either because they have other commitments, they just don't feel like it after not topping, or they just haven't got. They've got other commitments, which it's a viable thing. They've got. Some people just won't be able to afford to sit there and play side events all day. So even if we max out at, say, 20 teams for this, that's still 5 rounds.
Yeah.
5 rounds, and say even if you cut to a top 4, that's fine. If you start that at midday, you're going to be done by 6, 7.
Yeah, I think they'll end up starting like just at the same time. Like start at like 10 or something. I don't know. Again, we'll have to wait and see what Sean does in terms of the organisation. Yeah, I think 20 teams is probably a reasonable kind of upper limit or boundary. Maybe 25 at most.
The reason I think they'll start after top 8 is for
Hmm.
the judges. Because the reason like the side event started pretty much after top 8 was going was because they need to have the judge power there for the top 8, but once it gets to top 4 and finals, you need significantly less judges, which means they're then available to go work on side events. Other than that, Sean is going to have to basically bring on more judges than he needs to watch all these events, and especially since it's going to be Leeds, it's not like he can rely on other to do it. And we are pretty good in that aspect. When there's the belt on the line, Connor's going to be like, you missed your response window. You can't.
Oh, I'm going to be so bad for it. it's not even that, right? When I get to top 8, I'm going to assume there's a little bit of a gap, right, where I can win my top 8
double
round,
queue,
and then drop as I'm a top 4 player. Just drop, then win the belt.
Okay,
immediately.
Does
my game look like it's going a bit long? Team's about to start. I'll just drop. I'm scooting.
I will pass on what Murray did say to me last regionals. He does allow double queuing as long as you can play both games at a sufficient speed.
I'm down. I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll play for my team as well. I'll have all the games just in the line.
I don't think you can. I don't think
chess master going down it.
Allow you to be a one-man team.
But yeah,
in the past, you did used to. In the past, you used to be able to have 2, and you just had to accept a loss. And you could then 2-0 people. That was allowed in the past, but
it's just you in a various number of wigs.
Well, I mean, you could still, in theory, do that if you're double queuing, right? It's just like Connor. I just need to take a comfort break from my top 8 match, right? Run past the table, I concede, take a comfort break, come back, right?
Okay, sign me up for the teams. I'm in top 8. If I keep winning, just accept the loss, and I trust that you're going to get the double win. But I think these belts are really cool. They did something with Triple Threat similar at Worlds. I think this is a great addition. Unfortunately, it's not an asset which, people would have loved to get the assets back. But walking away with a 2024 team's national champion belt is going to be absolutely amazing. And I'm pretty sure the Dobbers and ourselves can both be happy in the fact we're going to have to get WWE style interviews from whoever wins these belts.
Yes.
I've already committed to putting the winners through tables. Like it's
breakaway tables, right? Like the ones that are designed to be thrown into.
Yeah, the real plywood.
But no, I think this is a great addition. I would love to see this come in for more things like Challenger, Spotlight, Retro. Having this be, because with Nationals going away, having an event that is still Nationals but not having it count towards Worlds would still be very cool, and it would be more primarily for people who love the game and are playing the game for the sake of it rather than just trying to get to Worlds. And you could run a spotlight championship or a teams championship or a challenger championship and just have all these cool events going on throughout the day. And they could be like smaller, faster events, or because I mean, if you ran teams on if you ran Spotlight on a Friday and break it into like 4 small tournaments for each, like AOT Spotlight, Yu Yu Hakusho Spotlight, Big World Spotlight, and go, okay, we're going to crown champions are going to get lesser prizing because it's a much smaller championship. Then you get your retro national champion, you get your team's national champion, you can even get a standard national champion. It's just, it doesn't count towards Worlds. These are just community titles for loving the game. In honesty, this is probably something we could just do ourselves if we had money.
Yeah. But yeah, I love the idea of the belts. Like, I'm glad they brought them back. Yeah, it's sort of weird and a shame that this is going to almost be a one-off because nationals are going away. But it's what it is.
I don't think it is. I think this is going to be a thing that persists even with when we lose nationals. This event will continue in some way.
Yeah, I mean, again, this could be a barometer for it, right? Of how popular are these events that are run at these nationals. If they're really popular, then maybe we can, UVS can think about putting some effort into it. But
well, if we turn to the poll I put up on Facebook, which legitimately just asked, "What do you want more, the World's Invite or the belt?" 3 people voted for the World's Invite. 15 people voted for the belt.
The right answer. Yeah.
The belt is what people want.
That's the right answer. I think the other thing to remember as well is with these things like the belts and stuff, right? When we get to Worlds next OP season, right, it is essentially open. Well, think about it, right? It's going to be open. It's going to be more. It should, in theory, be more accessible to have a bigger player base over 64 people.
Yeah.
So you're going to have really good side events when it comes to that as well. So, I would imagine you see a teams event at Worlds.
Worlds, Retro Worlds,
yeah.
I still think they should do a hardcore belt of just you just have to throw down Universus whenever someone gets you.
Portable tables,
a Duelist Kingdom or Battle City style. You chuck people. Go, okay, you've got two symbols. You basically everyone gets about MW assigned 2 symbols, and you've got to find people and throw down challenge. They can't refuse it. You play the game, and you take one of their symbols, and when you get all 12 symbols, you get entry into
this is No. I mean, the hardcore belt of WWE. Someone turns up at your doorstep with a deck, you have to play them. They turn up at your work with a deck.
Bear in mind, they have to bring a judge. They have to bring a judge.
I mean, that's something we could just do.
I mean, yes, but they have to bring a judge, right?
No.
I think the idea is more fun than practical.
But it would just be something for fun. It'd be something that we could also you just do for content and be like, "Where's the belt now?" It's like, "Oh well, Connor won the belt at regionals, but then went to his locals and lost to Murray. So Murray now has the belt, and the problem is Murray is refusing to play at locals and judges events."
It's not even that. You could put a tracker on it and then have a website that's got the belt tracker on it. So
actually, I think probably a good qualification to avoid lawsuits would be at any sanctioned event, you are open game.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. So say Connor wins it at regionals, and then when they get an established star back up there, Murray wins it at a local qualifier. If Murray just judges all events and doesn't sign up for another sanctioned event, he can just hold on to the belt.
No. If he's at a sanctioned event, he is game.
If he holds the title, he has to play.
Okay.
You can't refuse the challenge. You have to accept all and every challenge.
My head's just going, can I get Card Goblin to fund this? Can I get Card Goblin to make a community belt that just travels?
The best bit is, if you look at the hardcore belt in WWE, it was like a raggedy ass thing, barely put together, right? It doesn't have to be a high quality belt. No,
no, you're talking me into it. I will legitimately probably be able to get a belt done.
Look up the 24/7 belt.
Just get a cheap ass belt and just slam a logo on it. Oh no, you can't make me do this, man. I'm focusing so much on everything other than my deck for Nats. The closest I've come is I thought, what if I put dual the Ackermans in Toga 3? And that's the closest I've come to thinking about a Nats deck. But yeah, the belts are cool. I think they should be cool. And I wish it'd been something that we were getting at Worlds as well. But the prize wall that we're getting is hopefully just a sort of prelude to what we're going to see at regionals next year.
Mm-hmm.
I think
so. The prize wall is cool. I think so. One of the things I think people picked up on when they looked at the Nats Prize originally was there was no boosters, right? I think a lot of people don't give a shit about the booster prizes.
There will be products. I think it's been confirmed on Discord. There will be products. It's just not very exciting to talk about.
Sure. My assumption was that you don't get product for signing up, you get some tickets, and you can get what product you want then from those tickets from the prize pool. That would be my assumption. I might be wrong. But rather than just kind of you sign up, you get 6 boosters. My assumption was you sign up, you get 6 tickets. A booster is a ticket. That was how I kind of got it in my brain.
Really confused about the playmats. Like, you've got a death and a chaos playmat, and that's it. They're not doing all 12 playmats on the prize wall.
Yeah, because they'll save the rest for later during the year, right?
But also, they did say something along the lines of, like, not all the prize walls will be the same.
Yeah.
So, right now, let's be honest, there is only 6 symbols. I wouldn't be shocked if we see 2 of each regional or national, having 2 of them.
To God, if Chaos Playmat is not at our nationals, I am going to throw something through something.
Well, these were confirmed for everything, right? These are
that's what Connor's saying. The pricing might be different each play walls. Okay. UVS?
But I think going forward, right, when we get, say,
forward,
there'll be there'll be like, let's say, one sort of season for regionals. You've got the, let's say, good, evil, air playmats, and for the US regionals that season, they get the good one. We get the evil one, and OCE gets the air one, right? That sort of thing.
I'm just saying, I've now thought of it. If we don't get the Chaos Playmat at our nationals, which hopefully we will do from what you're saying, I'm going to make the worst possible pun at nationals. I've already got it lined up. I legitimately have this pun lined up, and I'm waiting for Richard to be present for it. And the best part is, he won't even get the reference.
Good. I'm glad.
And Connor might get where we're going if I remind him we're staying at the Craven House Hotel for the regionals.
I can have a couple of ideas.
Obviously, the retro reprint thing is cool. I'm assuming it's a cool card for retro. I have no idea.
That's got the nasty ones, isn't it?
It's cool. I mean, it is cool, to be fair, because I think Rose Whiplash might have been an ultra rare as well.
Yeah.
I think I got one.
Not on the most playable character, but still cool. I mean, anything they do with retro, I'm going to like overall.
How do you feel about the pins? I mean,
they're fine. Again, they're just not everyone's going to want them, right? But people are going to enjoy having those. And again, just a nice little extra thing to have on the prize wall. I imagine there'll be products on the prize wall. So if you don't want accessories and shit, you can spend it for some booster packs. The dice are cool, just having access to those and not having to buy those stupid.
The dice better be cheap. The dice need to be cheap. Dice should possibly be the cheapest thing along with the pins. But
hopefully there'll be a bunch of maybe older promos. Maybe. Although they've probably gone the way of certain people who no longer work for the company. Maybe.
I mean, we might see non-redemption promos on there. I see some old regional promos and stuff. But I mean, it's hard to say. We've got the list, and I personally don't think that list is exclusive. It was a very small list for a prize wall.
And then you got the oversized cards, right? So these are like twice, like History's Greatest Monster, wasn't it? Like just twice double size.
Just says double size, doesn't it?
Double size History of Monster, double size Trinket, which is going to be a softer one, and then Godzilla and Critical Role uncut sheets, which look really cool.
Yeah, but personally, I don't like uncut sheets. Aren't really my jam. They're fine, they're whatever, but I know they are a thing that people love, so I'm really glad they're on the prize wall.
I'm glad that it's not just an uncut sheet of a singular card, like when they gave away the Fletcher Might uncut sheets, it was just one card on the sheet. But it's also not an entire deck. It's not like the cards. It's a mixture of cards, like it would be a sheet that was meant. It's literally an uncut sheet they've pulled off the card.
It's an actual.
The name is the giveaway there, Brett.
Well, no, because when you look at if you look at Magic uncut sheets, you can get an uncut sheet of every single ultra rare.
Of what Magic?
In Magic, you can get So, like, I thought,
because that's how they're printed.
Yeah, that's just how they print it, though. Yeah.
So when I think uncut sheet, when I think a Challenger uncut sheet, I think
it's singular.
The entire deck on an uncut sheet, which would be a highly sought after collectible item. But I like this one because the first thing I immediately did was, how many trinkets on here, and how many times can I go, is there a bear on this?
Yeah, I'm kind of weird with uncut sheets. Like, I don't really care for them. But then realising that one of them's Godzilla, I was like, okay, now I kind of care for it. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Like, that's going to be the first thing I'm aiming for.
The Soul Leveling one, I would definitely be down for that. But the main issue with an uncut sheet is it's a hidden cost because you have to get that framed. You can't leave that by itself.
Well, I mean, you say that, you could sell it.
Blasphemy.
Yeah. But again, like, all of these things are cool and good things to have on the prize wall. Like I said, I would fully expect there to be like product as a kind of fail-safe.
I hope to see retro packs on there like they did at World. Like when we had, I'm thinking the Worlds one we had when we went to Vegas.
Yeah, which is cool because I managed to pick up the Mortal Kombat 2-player starter set for the boy. Also, shout out to Connor for sending me a whole bunch of Mortal Kombat stuff. The boy loves it.
I've got some Mortal Kombat stuff I got for playing retro as well. I still need to go through all the stuff Nathan gave me because I've not gone through it. And if I've got any spare Mortal Kombat,
I've kind of sorted me a playset of common uncommons and characters. So, but yeah, like I think with the retro stuff, it's probably trickier because who the fuck in the UK has stock of retro products? Yeah. Obviously, in the US, Sean they can go to retro stuff.
Sean has Red Horizon and Battle for Power, and I think a bit of Platinum. If not, there is a store in Italy that's trying to get rid of all that stuff. I think you can get like the Yu Hakusho stuff that's $200 in America is about £100. Apart from if you go Rochester, where it's $100, but they don't ship here. But yeah, that's one of the main issues is getting hold of stock. And unless you're Connor, who has like a backlog of cards and products in cupboards.
Yeah, that's currently just retro, and that's 3 boxes deep.
But yeah, getting hold of the sealed product would be an issue, but I think they're going to be sending staff members out with this stuff.
Yeah, so
I feel like they would have to. Yeah.
If they sent Guile out with, say, some Mortal Kombat or some stuff they've probably got in the warehouse that's been sat there for a good 10 years, and it's like, just stick a tag on it.
Yeah. Again, like, it depends on, like, a pack for a booster or, a ticket for a booster or a ticket for 3 boosters, however the conversion rate works out. And the other side of it for that on the prize wall, obviously, if you are intending on going, do go sign up early and you get the bonus. And obviously, it really helps the people who organise these tournaments to get their numbers in order. And obviously, just turn up and support these events. So, because obviously, the UVS don't really put a lot of personal risk into these financially. It's all on the tournament organising. So that'll be Sean, and is it another Sean that does it in OCE? Who knows?
I think it is all. Not too sure about Akibara, but I know there was Sean in New Zealand. I'm not too sure if it's still Sean. So
yeah, we've obviously got Sean O'Brien and Rochester over in the US, and then Sean Johnson and Patriot over here. Sign up, turn up, support those guys, make sure that they are continuing to be able to put on these events for everyone. So
you raise a good point there. With the costs of how things are going to be on the price wall, if they say have some AOT boxes and some Yu Hakusho boxes, some Go Power boxes, and they're going to be 1 ticket each, and you get 3 tickets for signing up. That's the same as your booster participation for taking part in regionals. So
like I said, that was sort of my assumption, is that you would have tickets to spend on the prize wall instead of boosters as part of your entry prizes. You could buy boosters, or you could spend it on some Rose Whiplashes if you didn't care about AOT2 boosters and just wanted some Rose Whiplashes, you could just do that.
But what would you price an uncut sheet at?
I don't fucking know. I haven't worked out the economy of it. I'm just thinking from that concept.
So let's put the baseline and say one ticket is one booster pack, and say you get one ticket for signing up and one ticket for every win you get in an event. How many would you put? One. You say there's only 2 uncut sheets: one Godzilla, one Critical Role.
50, just as a random number.
You could. I could probably get 50 on the Friday.
Maybe, but then you've ground your ass off playing, giving Sean lots of money playing side events.
I don't have to spend a single penny to get those tickets. I can trade for those tickets.
From who?
From people with tickets. If I go, you want this card? Give me a ticket.
Yeah, like everyone like stashing their tickets together for something.
Yeah, because you got to think the doubles themselves could show up playing one side event and probably to walk away with one. If we kind of go, you owe us for the rest of the weekend. You are bitch now.
I don't think you know how we don't share.
I don't know what the numbers and the economy are, right? You've got to work out.
I'm just thinking again, going back to Vegas where we got tickets in 5s, and it was 5 tickets for a booster, and then the retro ones were a bit more expensive given how old they were. But then they had like an Asahi thing that was like 300. And you kind of had to grind up there, and that would have been essentially 100 tickets if it was one ticket on there.
I mean, who knows, right? We'll just have
there'll be a scale to it that they'll figure out.
It has to be reasonable.
Obviously, if there's not enough players to like build up points, then some of the things will just be unattainable. So
And Sean's like, "Oh no, I have to take these uncut sheets home with me. What a shame."
No, you have to send them back to the UVS.
No, Tati, don't. Not that I'm saying that Sean and Lenoco and whoever comes out are pliable that way, but I have done many times at regionals and other events where it's like, you don't want to take that home with you. You'll take a little bit less for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many tickets do you have? 3. Yeah, go on. Think how much teabag Style can take home with him if he doesn't have an uncut sheet of Godzilla with him. Not that anyone in UK versus would bribe or solicitate unfair deals from anyone in the community or from the UVS staff.
But yeah, I mean those uncut sheets will go, right? However many they have, they'll go.
The oversized
people
cards
will
will
want
go. them. I think that's the first one you're grinding for, is it, Connor?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, give me the Godzilla sheet. It's Godzilla, isn't it? Everything else is a side note.
I do think this is a better way than the giving away of the oversized cards. As much as I love my Giant Dabby, I think a prize war is a better way to do it because you just get people to grind. But I think it's also... But what's the best way to put it? It's more restrictive. Because like you said, if you want to get this Godzilla and say it's 100 tickets and you only get 1 ticket for each side event, you essentially need to not only grind but win all your side events, as well as say you get 3 for signing up, 1 for every win you get in a round, 1 for every round you win in Swiss, and then that's it. So when if you go undefeated,
maybe bonuses for actually winning whatever the event is.
Yeah. Or break into Murray's hotel room and steal all his tickets.
True. Would you get tickets via just the main event, like doing well in the standard event?
For next year, yes. So people don't feel like they're missing out. Top cuts will still get a significant amount of tickets. But I don't think that's something they want to announce at the minute while they're still working out the economy of them. But yeah. I imagine they don't want to
maybe lowly assume that to some degree, because that would be rubbish if like you stay in the main event and then you get no tickets for the prize wall.
But then again, you can also go, Connor, you won Nats, you won $150, you won $1,500 to go to Worlds, and you won amazing promos. Why are you sad you missed out on an uncut Godzilla sheet?
I'd still be upset with that. I'd like my name to be at least in the hat to get it. Is the thing.
What do we think about?
Yeah, I mean, I think generally you do get some tickets based on placing. At least they have done previously.
What do we think about diversity tickets?
Again, that's a reasonable way of doing it, right? Whether that's like an extra promo or an extra ticket.
They did extra promos and extra stuff for diversity, and then that's a great way of bringing diversity back into it, but not making it really bad for everyone who just wants to play characters.
No, OG diversity, bring it back.
No.
Let's not do that. But I think having a little sweetener for being the top of your character, I think, is totally fine.
If OG diversity come back out of top the last event because 2 backer goals would have got kicked out.
It shockingly fixes a lot of things. The more it generally does, because it means that you can't piggy bank yourself onto like a character that autopilots itself. You have to be good at the character.
Oh, could you imagine how weird season 1 regionals would have been if Younger Toguro had been diversity?
I wouldn't have been in. me on half an hour's sleep. Yeah, there was no chance I was top 8 in that one.
I just love the idea of the top King of Swiss was Younger Toguro, and then like the next 8, like all the way down to like 15th place Younger Toguro. Oh, yes, I get to top 8.
And in the past as well, it's one of those weird ones that it's never really been like, oh, the diversity chained in to like 90th place got in. It's always like brackets of 2.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't really change the grand scheme up.
Is that because diversity was in place and people knew it was in place? So
with diversity in place, what you had was you had 2 kind of like outlooks, right? You either had, this is my character, I'm going to be the best in that top 8 with that character. Or you had, they can't do this one now as much, but in the past you could. I have that character in the sideboard, and I'm playing another character so that I can then 2-0 with the other one, or 2-1 with the other one. If you could get around it.
Yeah.
But it was one of those that you had to then play into it.
If we had diversity in the game now, I know at least one person that I consider a friend would have started playing Dabby 1 just so they could eventually pick me on diversity and go, oh, we both made it top 8, but I'm higher and I'm Dabby 1 as well, so you could get knocked out.
I think a lot of people would have been quite happy to have done that.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think we should bring back diversity in the old form. I think diversity
I don't even think it's something we can bring back now. I think by them slowly taking out characters as things like being in deck and stuff, like we've eliminated that now. Because you can't have them
if they brought back diversity, it'd be the same as bringing back reversal. The newer players and the players that never had it would just completely lose their shit.
Yeah,
if it comes back, it needs to come back like Echo and Multiple. It needs to come back in a fixed way that doesn't really.
Yeah, the fixed way is just some extra promos and a bit of cherry on top.
You decided you were going to play Selkie to this event, or you decided you were going to play Present Mike 2. Here's some extra tickets for the prize. Well, I was like, yeah. It would encourage the more casual players or the players that just love a singular character to just keep playing the character, because even if they don't top, they're still going to walk away with additional tickets.
Yeah, I mean, overall, they've got it in an alright spot. Personally, I don't like it. Personally, I would like it back to some degree. I think it would change. I think it would overall change up enough of the competitive meta. Like, you can't all bag in on a character. And then we see all these character erratas and stuff. You didn't really see that as much.
I guess you didn't really need to, because the moment you did that, everyone would go. Once you've got a character like Younger to go and everyone starts jumping onto it, some of the players start going with everyone's on Younger to go.
If everyone's doing it, then I'm not doing it. Yeah,
you get that syndrome from Incredibles thing of, well, if everyone's special, if everyone's super, then nobody is.
No one's super.
If everyone tops for Younger to go, then nobody's topping with Younger to go. But it kind of like a self-sustaining market kind of thing, but then it just allows broken characters to keep making the game unfun. As we talked about a couple of weeks ago when me and Richard had the big argument over how the state of Smiling Titan, just because at big events younger to go, you can still top. Doesn't mean the people that are topping because of diversity had fun in the event playing against 30 younger to goes.
Yeah, I think that about covers everything on the national side, right? In terms of the news, that's all obviously we know so far. So yeah, once again, everyone go sign up, whether that be NA, whether that be EU, whether it be Oceania, go sign up for your nationals and
if you've not
make
received
a
your
huge
invite,
event.
if you've not received your invite or your code, do check your spam folder because I know a few people had theirs go there. Because remember, this is invite only. You can't just sign up. Unfortunately, you do need to have required enough points. And if you are looking to go and have a look at the points, keep an eye out because I have a sneaking feeling that last chance qualifiers will be coming back, especially for EU and Oceania.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there's LCQs, but I don't think we've had anything confirmed or anything from the Avery.
No, we haven't had anything fully confirmed, but I think we might be getting a bit more news on Wednesday. I'll let you guys riff for a second while I just steal the flip.
Mm-hmm. It'd be interesting if they would maybe hurry up with that kind of knowledge, especially when it comes to last chance qualifiers, because you're going to have moments where somebody's like, "Well, I'm not going, so I've not got the points for it."
Yeah.
If you know now, you maybe get a better chance of setting up for it.
Yeah, exactly. Like if there isn't an LCQ, people aren't necessarily going to go on just for side events. But if there's an LCQ and it's like, well, if I don't make it, then I can play in side events. Then people might go, and obviously, they need advance warning so they can book things like transport, travel, and accommodation, all that sort of stuff, time off work, what have you. So I think
I'll let you finish.
If they are doing LCQs, they really need to announce them sooner rather than later, or at least just say no, there isn't. I think some sort of info on that side would be useful.
If there are no LCQs on Friday, I know Sean still has the room. Come down. We can play some Star Trek Star Realms. I'll be bringing that. We can play some of my brand new side game after people figured out the trick to find the character, which is I'm not Mike Hardiman. I'm going to be doing lots of crazy little game show kind of things if I can figure them out, because I'm spending more time figuring out how I'm going to spend my time at Nationals, knowing that I'm not top cutting. I think we can kind of
I think that probably about covers it for this week, unless there's anything else you wanted to sort of grow with this week, Connor?
No, that was mostly it, to be honest.
Okay. Anything up and coming from the Dobbers content-wise from you guys that we should look out for?
Possibly some stuff. I will be back onto the content grind as of this week, starting. I'm back to being a bit better. So
when's the next TCG Star Simulator when we can see your reactions to the update?
I might actually genuinely be streaming tomorrow, to be fair. So I don't know what I'm doing yet for it, but if I'm not streaming Monday, it'll probably be Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday.
That's right.
I'm also really surprised Murray made no comment about the little present I gave him in the trade we made.
He's not going to make it public. But yeah, we'll leave it there. I'm looking forward to seeing Connor's TCG Simulator streams. He's got me purchasing the game. I recently got black Ghost Bears in one of my packs.
Oh, okay, yep.
So we're talking about that. My binging of Critical Role is going quite well. I'm currently sneakily trying to get a Star Trek Star Realms TTS table going because I'm just procrastinating from that in any way possible. And anything you've been playing this week, Richard?
What did I play? Oh, yeah, we played a new one, a really good one, actually.
Ooh. While he's such that, what have you been testing for regionals, for nationals for you that hasn't been working out, so you can't reveal the spice?
I am saying nothing, but
is there anything you've crossed off the list?
Yeah, 100%. I think I had about 12 possible options. And
what's it down to now?
I'm down to character A, character B, and character maybe C. One
one day, obviously Zilla is probably high on the list, just in general, since I've been rocking it at the last few events. It will not be on Earth this time. I will be going to Chaos if I do end up playing it.
No, not.
I wanted to try.
Less determined advanced Godzillas.
Nah, I don't even know. No, what I'm doing with mine's a wee bit off the cuff. I have a water Zilla that has been working shockingly well. I need to tweak the numbers. But it throws out, like, on average, 8 speed attacks. So it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun.
Are you playing Tasty Ref so you can get free builds after you board wipe?
No.
You don't run two. Okay, one, why would Godzilla be running a 4-check diff attack? And 2, why would he be running a 2-check?
Because it's cool.
It's a ranged package that if I can get 5 cards in field, you burn for 5 anytime you get hit.
Burn for 5? Oh, not maximum viscosity.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
And Sports Festival.
No.
And you've got all these big ranged attacks. It's actually got quite scary. These ranged attacks are all fast. Yeah. And they're all hitting you for 10, and then you're burning for 5.
Are you running
Good
the
stuff.
midnight flash attack as well that gets cards out of hands?
No, I am not.
Oh.
Because it's got flash, and I need to use my enhances.
I mean, yeah, but you can also...
There is a world where I could say yes to it. I think if it's on symbol. If it's got water. I can't remember.
No, it's Chaos Death Void.
No. That's why I'm also not playing it.
No, I mean... because when I was...
I had Flash Zilla for retro built. Flash Zilla's
terrifying. Did that actually
terrifying.
lose at any point? Because I know you were planning on playing it.
No, I've still not lost with it. I didn't end up playing it at that regionals though, because it just felt a little bit too. Oh, when this works, it works too well.
Yeah.
Like playing the average, like playing like a City Rampage, and then playing the Gently Thief one, and you're getting rid of cards from hand, and you're playing the Midnight one, you're getting more cards from hand. You just couldn't block it.
Declan's retro list from
I had to play against that thing. I don't want to play against that again.
It's the only deck I lost to.
I drew with him, but he made me have to play genuinely seriously. I didn't get to just create my wall.
He beat me because he was low enough for me to kill him with any attack. I had 4 foundations, and the only attack I had in hand was Colossal Thermoblast. I couldn't play it, so I was like, okay, I'm Mina 1. I can kill him with any attack. Throw down foundations. It's like check of grade, check grade, check grade, check grade, check. It's like no.
He's also on my enemy list right now because I hit him with learning the standards, and he goes, "Okay, I'll just City Rampage." Then I went, "I guess that's a thing." Continue going. Like it was just the most unfun reaction ever.
That's in my part of my video as to why City Rampage was worse than Azure because of learning the standards and everything you can get around. Like, it's not an okay card.
It is.
It's not.
I until somebody really breaks it, I'm happy with it being in the very broken category now. Like I love it to bits, but it probably should have been hit with just 1 per turn could be played.
I was running 2 at regionals in my Dabby 4 checklist, and it only came like once or twice. But when it did, it was just like, cool. You see all these 7 checks I've got? They're now 5 checks. My 7 diffs are 5 diffs on this. And I'm running so many 6 checks that I'm just going to blow you out the water.
The game I played against Scott today, I think I managed to play out 1, and then I was able to get +4 on the first 4 attacks, and then had +13 on the 5th attack. The numbers scale up very crazily when you've got them in play.
Oh yeah, I mean, when I was playing my Dabby 4 checklist, it was kind of the same thing. I was just scaling up my attacks, and people basically just going it's the fact that it's a 7 into a 7/7 into a 7/10, knowing the next one's got +6 damage to it. It's like it's one. That's why I was so glad I chose to play Dabby, because it just was really cool. And I needed to play at least once this year before he cycles, and I become a Grog Chaos main. Because if there's any character that's coming next year, which is see orange, play orange, it's Grog.
Yeah. The only thing is, though, Grog better have Earth. I'm just saying it now.
Yeah, I mean, he is a Goliath, so Earth does kind of make sense. He's chaotic neutral in alignment, so he's 100% of chaos.
Yeah.
So, what? Chaos, Earth, and Void? He's void of all intelligence?
I mean, I guess it depends on how they do the design art for these symbols now. Obviously, in the past, these symbols used to have more of a slight identity, like in the form of like the actual symbol. I don't necessarily mind them doing it between the IPs now.
He has to share at least one symbol with the Brails. That's my theory. So he could be Chaos Evil.
No, he'll be Chaos. No, he'll have Fire.
Oh yeah, you'll have Fire. Chaos Earth Fire, which means that Craven Edge will be a Chaos attuned. No, even Death attuned, I guess, because Craven Edge needs to share a symbol with at least Silas and Grog because they both wield it.
Yeah. I mean, it also depends on like whether or not they attune that stuff. Plus, it then depends on what characters they even pick. Obviously, Grog will be in this set. Like, I'll be so confused if he wasn't.
He's got a playmat. He has a playmat, so he has to be.
Can you imagine if all he had was the playmat, though?
Scanlan isn't on any of the playmats. Scanlan is in none of the promotional material we've got, apart from like a silhouette. So I'm really worried that the MVP, the leader of Vox Machina, is not going to be there because people say he's not the leader. I'm going to point out I've just finished the Amazon Prime series, so slight spoilers for that and there. When he's unconscious, the team falls apart. So when he's not there, he's not there for the Whitestone raid, and they lose. Whenever Scanlan's not there, they struggle. He is the MVP. He is the master of Dick Lightning. They lose if they don't have the cube with them.
Or Matt Mercer, can he scale his games right? No, I don't.
No, see, Matt Mercer just goes, and I think this encounter needs a beholder. And Richard is just like, I have no idea what's going on here.
No, it's all, you're all speaking Dutch as far as I'm concerned.
Once it gets to like after Soul Level, we start getting the Critical War stuff. I think me and Connor are just gonna have to sit down and make a butt ton of content about all this stuff. Because I'm looking forward to. I have no idea how they're going to condense 10 years into 217 cards. I could do 217 cards off the first 16 episodes of the podcast.
Yeah, they've definitely. I think on the plus side though, they have like plenty to use at least.
Yeah. I also made the mistake of asking about Tiberius Stormwind in Reddit, and that blew up. I only asked a simple question if he was scared of the dark, and it kind of blew with, oh, but he's such a bad person. I don't care. That's not what I asked. I'm not asking about Orin. I'm asking about the character. But Richard has been waiting patiently to tell us what he's been playing this week, and you've been playing Inventors of South Tigris?
Inventors of the South Tigris. Tigris obviously being a river in South Asia, I think, or North Africa, I'm not really sure. Anyway, so this is Shem Phillips and Garfield Games. So he does a lot of trilogies. So this is the third in his South Tigris trilogy. And I think the best in it, I really enjoyed Wayfarers of the South Tigris. But yeah, Inventors was a really, really good game. Sort of worker placement, a little bit of area control, a little bit of sort of worker management, and just a really like it did. I didn't feel like it did anything particularly crazy or groundbreaking for like a worker placement Euro, but it was a really enjoyable experience. It didn't feel like there was like one specific sort of route to victory. There was lots of satisfying button pressing, basically, in that sort of Euro style. Basically, you're just sort of, as the box says, inventors. You're trying to do, you're making these inventions, so you end up like with sort of a left-hand side and a right-hand side. So you make put together. So you like make a steam-powered vase or something, right? So you have like a steam-powered, or water-powered, or mechanical. So you've got your left-hand side, and then your right-hand side will be like a vase or a horse, or something along those lines. So you make all these weird, wonderful combos, and you're just then building those, inventing those, and testing them, and doing very standard sort of worker placement stuff. And sort of and then like a bit of dice management as well. So there's like a dice management aspect to it. But yeah, really, really solid Euro with plenty going on, plenty of like crunchy decisions, and definitely a game I'd want to play again. But yeah, it's a good one. And like I said, I think the best of his South Tigris games, and possibly like maybe my favourite of Shem's games I've played. Like I really like Paladins of the West Kingdom. So West Kingdom was another one of his series he did. I really enjoy Paladins, and like I really enjoy Wayfarers of South Tigris. But like I really, really got into Inventors. So definitely one worth checking out if that sounds like your jam.
Oh,
I will put that on the wish list. I need to slowly add to the board game collection that's getting slightly too tall.
Yeah.
More board games.
Moopsy has joined us now, so I think it's time to sign off.
100%. But if you do have any spare bones, do send them care package here.
So, as always, thank you to everyone in chat for chatting along with us. And obviously, if you are watching this on YouTube, thank you for your support as always. Click all the buttons, like, comment, subscribe. All of that really helps the channel. And once again, thank you very much to Connor from the Dobbers for joining us. Obviously, go check out his channel and sub to the Dobbers and watch all their content, or you won't be my friend anymore. And I still refuse to use anything but UVS Ultra. Sorry.
No. We'll convert you. It's fine. It's fine. We'll convert you.
As we're signing off, let's just point out that UVS Ultra has a limit on how many duplas you can put in a deck. You can only put 60 duplas in a deck, whereas in UVS Ultra, I stopped clicking at 200. That's the superior deck building option. It doesn't limit your creativity.
It looks better.
and it looks better. It looks better on mobile. And one of the biggest things from the regionals content has been, where can I get that life counter app? I want my character's face on there, which is all part of UVS, Universus.cards, the app. And it was great to see like linking up to the life bar. I would love to be able to figure out how to do that myself, but I'm not that smart. Matt, the fact that you've got Matt is a massive asset for the Dobbers. Yeah. You guys do not pay him enough because you don't pay him.
We don't pay him.
He gets paid in like the love and affection, which is something that none of us do get.
He gets to occasionally join my team at team events, right? That's what he gets. He gets the thought of maybe joining.
Occasionally, yeah. I think that's really cool. It was great at regionals to see him getting to like get geek out with Card Goblin over their card sorting machine and stuff like that. But we have been trying to sign off for 15 minutes. Richard is nice and snug and ready to head off. And Connor...
Yeah, I'm going to go off and be depressed about the Houston Texans and how terrible they are.
Oh, did they actually lose?
Yeah, they honestly... They lost. They even gave West safety at the end of the game and missed a 28-yard field goal. Like, honestly, they lost to the baby-eating sister fuckers. Like, what's going on?
And Connor's getting ready to watch the Packers.
I've got the Packers on already.
I've got the Packers on already.
Yep.
The only thing I know about the Packers is they're inferior to the Vikings.
Yeah, but we're superior to the San Francisco 49ers because we're hunting them 17-0 right now. Somehow.
I know nothing about American rugby. I most of the stuff I picked up from other things. But we'll head off. Like Richard said, do go check out the Dobbers. They've got some amazing content. Their 10D content is probably one of the best from the Universus reveals from Star Trek.
They didn't have any chocolate bar strapped to their head. What's the fucking point?
I mean, but their thumbnail had them all as duplas, which, is just amazing.
That is fair.
And do keep an eye on content this week because Star Trek Lower Decks does come out next week, so we should start seeing content creator products opening fairly soon if there is any. And once, if we get any, as soon as we have some, we'll record any. I'm sure Dobbers, if they get any, will do the same thing. And we'll be back next week with some form of content. It's a bit hard at the minute because you can't.
We'll find something to waffle about.
It's hard to plan ahead with all the news kind of dropping randomly.
Yeah.
But
yeah, go sign up to Nationals.
Yes.
Go sign up to the charity event, and we'll catch you on the next one.
And remember, UK versus are coming back with the belt. Richard, that's on you.
Yeah, maybe.
Even if you have to jump Connor after the event, we're coming back with the belt.
Yeah, that's fine.
Catch you in a bit. Bye.
Toodles.
See ya.